Just checking 1 second. We're just having a little bit of delay. And
Yeah. Yeah.
Chair, I think we're ready to begin.
All right, we're ready. All right, good morning. Welcome to the August 19th, 2025 regular Board of Supervisors meeting. We'll call this meeting to order at 9:04. As customary, we'll conduct a moment of silence. Supervisor Sabatier, would you like to start out?
Yes. The other day, unfortunately, Mr. Ken Bagsby, I hope I say his name right, I only knew him as Ken, passed away. He was 95 years old. He had moved to Clear Lake in 1988 and did a lot for our community. He was a longtime member for the Clear Lake Senior Center, always hung out there, and I would see him often during Black History Month events, Martin Luther King events, and such, and would also see him when the NAACP would do gatherings or award ceremonies as well. He was the vice president of the Lake County branch of the NAACP, and unfortunately he has passed, and I hope that we can have a moment of silence for him today.
All right, thank you. And I have one more. It is with profound heavy heart that we share a sudden passing of our dear friend and cherished Clear Lake Oaks neighbor, Sherry Branson. Sherry carried on the legacy of her beloved husband, Paul. If you don't know Paul, he was really big in the community on different boards, Lake Links. He also was on advisory board for AAA, Area Agency on Aging. So her beloved husband, Paul, with grace and dedication. After his passing, she poured her heart into Lake Links, not just as a part-time volunteer, but as lifeline for so many. Her vehicle became a vessel of care, transporting seniors to doctor appointments, grocery trips, and community events, always with a smile and a listening ear. A gifted musician, Sherry brought joy to countless hearts. Playing weekly in 2 bands, she delighted in cooking and baking, and she radiated pride and love whenever she spoke of her 5 grandchildren, her son, and her daughter's family, sharing their stories with anyone fortunate enough to cross her path. Sherry's home, overlooking the largest heron and cormorant rookery in the county, became a sanctuary for bird watchers and scientists alike. She welcomed all with open arms, letting them sit, observe, and connect with nature for as long as they wished. Sherry was more than a friend. She was a true pillar of our community. Though she is gone, her spirit, generosity, and the countless lives she touched will never be forgotten. Supervisor Sabatier, can you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, next we have consideration of extra items not appearing on the posted agenda. It looks like we have one, and that is consideration of extra item, consideration of closed session, public employee appointment pursuant to Government Code Section 54957B1, interviews for Animal Control Director, appointment of Animal Control Director. This item is being submitted as an extra item because the request came after the posted agenda. Go ahead, Sienna.
And in addition, it is an urgent decision needed by the board
All right.
for next week.
All right, so we go ahead and vote on it. Should I open the public briefly?
Yeah, so there's, thank you, Mr. Chair. So there's 2 parts to this. The first part is the consideration of taking up the item as an extra agenda item, and your board can take public comment on that.
Okay.
If your board approves that item, then it is designated as a closed session item, so that can be taken up at a later point in time or whatever your board wishes.
All right. So we'll go ahead and open it to the public if there's anyone that wanted to comment on this consideration of extra item. None on Zoom? All right, I'll bring it back to the board.
Mr. Chair, due to the fact that this came out after the posting of the agenda and required action prior to the next posting of the next agenda, I move to approve this extra item.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries 5-0. We will add that to the closed session item. All right. Next, approval of the consent agenda. Commonly, consent agenda items are considered non-controversial. However, if there's more discussion that needs to take place, whether it be from a pulled item from the board or from the public, we will go ahead and address that at a later date. Is there anyone from the board that would like to pull anything from the consent agenda? Supervisor Sabatier?
Yes, I'd like to have further discussions on 5.1, 5.2, and clarification on 5.7.
1, 2, and 5-7.
Please.
All right. All right. Anyone else? Hearing none, I'll bring it to the public to see if there's anyone that would like to pull anything from there. None on Zoom. We'll go ahead and bring it back to the board for action.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of items 5.1, 5.2, and 5.7.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries 5-0. With that, we'll go ahead and move on to our next item, which is, and we'll address those at a later time as well. We will move on to public input. Public input is an opportunity for a citizen to come out and speak about something that's not on the agenda. You will have 3 minutes, and just know we will not be engaging when it comes to public input, and we'll go from there. So I have one right here from Mr. Rob Brown, if you'd like to come up. And then if there's anyone else, come up, and there's also documents, a request form that you would fill out, and state your name for the record. All right.
Good morning, Rob Brown from Kelseyville. So the subject is roads. Recently, you guys addressed an issue up on Cobb of a contract that was let and some issues with the roads up there. And I think it's important to also recognize the other work on the roads that's going on. The county crew has been working on 37 miles of road that they're working on, overlay, chip seal, and various maintenance that they're doing. And they're about halfway through it. And there was a day when I didn't mind working in the 100-degree weather, doing paving and all that, but it's not today. And I have a lot of respect for somebody who does that. But the work that they're doing right now, the talent that you have in the road crew right now is I don't know that we've ever had that before. And my request is this, that the board, go look and see what they're doing. It's unbelievable. You can't, it would cost millions to get that kind of work done. And it's a testament to their commitment to the county, to their trade, and it's also a testament to the leadership by, at a risk of not mentioning somebody, but Jim Hale and Chris Prather obviously are the ones that I see out there the most. But they're not doing it for the money. We all know that, but they are doing an exceptionally good job on these roads and saving the county a lot of money. So if you're looking for a place to spend money, put it towards the county crew. Let them get all of our roads done, because they're doing an amazing job, and I really appreciate what they've done.
All right, thank you. Any other public input? We'll let the gentleman go first, and then Maria, I'll have you come up. Sir, come on up and fill out one of these citizen input forms. You can actually fill that after and hand it up. Yeah, just state your name for the record.
Khalil Abdul Jami, Kelseyville. I've been up in this county since 2002. And I've seen a lot of growth from when I first got up here, like the Rite Aid in Clear Lake, or the bank, which was Wachovia and Citizens Bank, which is now Wells Fargo, or the turnabouts, all the turnabouts that have been established, Upper Lake, Olympic, the one right there in Hidden Valley. Well, what I really like is what they've done in Clear Lake along the that park area right there by the police station. That was very inspirational. That should, a little bit more of those things should be put into the communities, because it's starting to grow and we're starting to attract more people from the cities who have the perceptions are wider. I'm not saying that when you live in small town communities, and especially in the country, the perception is not as wide as until you leave and you experience the world. And when you come back, your perceptions are wider. I grew up in the city, in Oakland. My mom is right here. And slow growth, but it's got to be something else. The communities need something else that it doesn't have. And there's not a lot of job opportunities here. I would suggest to you guys that you either create something here with the space or bring it in. Because there's really not much to do. And the homeless, it's not a lot of homeless, but you need to have something for them, a little more resources or something for them to get them off of the streets, because the winter is coming. Unless you want a bunch of dead homeless people and saying that you can't protect them and help them, they're the ones who need it the most. And jobs, creation of jobs. That's all I say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you can turn that in up here when you're finished, or thank you so much.
Thank you.
Maria?
Wes, would you care to join me? Mireya Turner, Community Development Director. The Community Development Department team is dedicated to superior public service. They are smart, they are hard workers, and the county has invested significant funds to train them and make sure that they know what their jobs are. One of the things that we cannot train is a caring heart and a dedication to the community. And so I appreciate the board welcoming opportunities for us to point out the exceptional. Wes Nelson, one of our code enforcement officers, was out on a site visit August 8th, 2025 on Bottle Rock Road when he noticed a smoke plume. He called that in and it became later known as the coal fire. He didn't just leave, he stayed on site there and went to Penson Court, started banging on doors and notifying neighbors, making sure everybody else was aware of the emergency. And he stuck around until relieved by emergency personnel. We are presenting Wes with this certificate because y'all won't let me give him, like $1,000 or something. So, but, right? But the certificate and the paper is just an understatement of the appreciation that we have for the dedication of these members of our team, and how they care and look after the community when they're out doing their jobs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Come on back over here, Wes. So one of the constituents that lives on Penson Court
reached out to me because he wanted to know who this person was that came to his house and called in the fire and warned him. And he said, "You have incredible staff." But then, and he gave me a description of you, and then we had to figure out what team you were on. So it took a little investigating, but thank you so much. The constituent wasn't able to make it here today, but he did really want me to know how much he appreciated you. You came to his door and you warned him and you called the fire in, and that fire ended up being very, very close to those homes. So you potentially saved property and lives.
It could have got bad real fast, but
Yeah.
I appreciate the recognition, but I don't feel like I did anything different than most individuals would in my situation. You see a fire, you address it, and you look out for the community. I just hope that's what everybody does.
We have the very best staff that work for the County of Lake. Thank you so much, Wes.
All right. Any other public input?
I know it's public comment, we're not supposed to engage, but Mr. West, that response is exactly why you're being recognized, so thank you. Thank you for what you do.
Just thank you. Appreciate it. Have a blessed day.
You too. All right, on Zoom, if Donna?
Good morning, Board. Donna Makowitz, Redbud, Audubon. I'd like to thank the Board and especially Supervisor Pyska and Chief Climate Resiliency Officer Tribal Liaison Terry Logston for continued community outreach awareness on the Mediterranean or borer beetle, or mob. Mob was first discovered in Napa in 2019, imported from France in 2017 on barrel staves. It's now attacking valley, blue, and some black oaks. In 2023, we saw dozens dead. 2024, hundreds dead. And already in 2025, tens of thousands of valley oaks have been lost. It's spreading at an exponential rate, echoing the devastation of Dutch elm and chestnut diseases on the East Coast. And we urge the Board to halt all removal of healthy trees, especially blue and valley oaks, and promptly remove and destroy all infected trees for the future oaks of this great county. Thank you very much.
All right. If there are any other public input, if you'd like to come up to the microphone.
Okay, here we go again. My name is Siva Jameli. I have worked for you in this county for I'm on my 36th year with In-Home Supportive Services. I'm pretty sure that 4 of you know who we are since we helped endorse you and get you on the board. We are here because we're tired of having to fight every tooth and nail to get a penny out of this county for our employment. We're the largest employer in this county. Do you know that? We employ over 2,200 people. And when I say we're the largest business, I mean everybody, including ambulances, hospitals, you name it. We're more than them. Sorry, I'm upset. When I started this job, it was 1990 in January. And I went in to apply, and shocked. All I had to do was tell them who I was and what I do. But it was $5.75 back then. And I was ecstatic. I said, oh, good, I get 50 cents above minimum wage. Guess what? Every year that the minimum wage went up by 50 cents until it reached $10 an hour, and then they quit. We didn't get no more raises anymore until our unions came in. Why do we have to do this with you? You come to us during the negotiations and offer us 25 cents an hour more. Whoopee, can you live on that? I don't think so. Do you realize that rent in Lake County, if you're lucky, I'm lucky. My client passed away and I got a place for $400 a month. but other people are paying anywhere from $1,000 and above, and some of them aren't even livable, but they stay there because they don't have a choice. Why? Why? Do you people realize that when we are working, going in and taking care of these people, that we are saving our county money? Because if they had to house those people in a nursing home, first of all, in Lake County, we don't have enough, because there's more of the recipients than there are providers. So you're talking 2,300 or more people that would have to be put somewhere. But no, we go to work every day to try to keep these people in their homes so they can die with dignity when it's time. Why do you fight us? We get $17.15 an hour right now. Do the math. I started in 1990, and I now only have $17.15 an hour, and I don't even get benefits. The only benefits I get is vision and dental, and I pay for those. Plus, I'm on Medicare. So please, stop. Listen to our proposal. Give us what we're worth. Because if you didn't have us, what would you do? You couldn't house all the people that are recipients that need somebody to take care of them. So stop. We want $20 an hour. We deserve $20 an hour. We don't get benefits, so we deserve 20. I know. I'm done. I know. But I'm sorry to sound like I'm angry, but like I said, I'm 35 years I've been doing this. I'm 70. Why do you make me fight every time we want a small raise? Why do I have to come before you, yell at you, and be angry? It's not right. We deserve better. Thank you.
All right.
Hello. My name is Eleanor Hayes. I am an IHSS provider here in Lake County. I'm also a mom of 3. I want to speak in favor of a strong contract for me and thousands of home care providers here in Lake County. At various times, I've had to work 2 to 3 jobs, support my family. The IHSS wages is not enough to cover all my family costs. I was fortunate enough to get a used car last year, but that was because I would take all my clients on the bus to get to their appointments and everything. When you have kids, you want to have some money saved up just in case anything unexpected happens, but I can't do that right now. Any savings I pulled together recently has had to go straight into emergency home repairs. If the wages were higher, it might be able to actually save for the future. I'd like to get stable enough so I can have free time to spend with my family and maybe plan some off time. If we can ensure decent wages for care providers, we're going to lose. If we can't get decent wages for providers, we're going to lose good caregivers to other industries. And the people who receive our care deserve compassionate people who love the work. That's a really important part of the work we do. We build strong relationships with our recipients. Our IHSS providers get very close to their clients, and those relationships are part of the care. It means a lot to recipients that they have a responsible person they can trust to help them. For providers, these relationships are why we love the work. And when our clients pass away, there's a lot of emotional impact. So far, I've lost my mom and some other clients. I was really depressed for a while, losing both of them. This is a very common part of the job. It never gets easy. Right now, I take care of a 91-year-old woman who is bedridden. I physically move her, I bathe her, I change her. I help her in and out of her wheelchair when we can. Recently, there was a wildfire on Mount Baldy. I had to get her and her disabled son out of that house. I know that she might not be with us for long, but that's the difficult thing that we sit with. Anyone involved in working will tell you that, and I think that's the part of working that many people don't think about. The work we do in the county is so important to seniors and people with disabilities in Lake County. The people who do this work need some security and stability, and I'm hoping we can agree to a strong contract that for the sake of my family and for the future of the care of Lake County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Diana Williard, and this is my son, Anthony James. I'm an IHSS provider and an SEIU 2015 union member. Anthony is my IHSS recipient. Thank you for giving us a chance to be heard. I want to say excuse me over any words that I may fumble. Due to not having my partial teeth, Anthony flushed them down the toilet 8 months ago. My job does not offer medical or dental, and the private dental plan I pay for won't come close to covering the cost of this work. There's a silver lining in him doing that, and that is when I asked him where my teeth were, he pointed to the toilet. He has no language and does not usually respond to questions, but that day when he pointed to the toilet, we completely understood each other. I currently have student loans from putting myself through massage school, being fully trained in this profession, and it was a passion of mine to bring healing and relief to people. My plan was to go into this field of work when moving to Lake County. That opportunity was lost due to the level of care Anthony needs. Also, my oldest son. A lot of providers have had to leave well-paying jobs to do what's right for their family. Still, I kept my chin up, making sacrifices, accepting that my new line of work would be to care and provide for them. The IHSS program has been a blessing for this reason. But today I'm asking our advocates on this board to stand up for us. If you've made a statement that you would be pushing for care providers to make a livable wage in this county, let your voice be heard. We are earning significantly less than a living wage. Please stand up and support us during these negotiations so that we can cover medical, dental, car insurance, grocery bills, flat tires, without having to work 2 and 3 jobs. The entire community benefits from having trained, compassionate, caring providers for recipients. And this service keeps thousands of people out of expensive care facilities. So as you work through these terms, as we work through these terms of this contract, please keep our thousands of Lake providers and their recipients in mind. I appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time to hear the voices and the county that you guys represent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Board. My name is Luisa Costa. I am the representative with SEIU 2015. I am the person that represents all of the HSS providers in Lake County. And I just want to mention a few things. So a few weeks ago, we all witnessed when you guys presented the probation officers their very well-deserved proclamation. They invited 2 young men to give testimony of how the department has actually supported them through their recovery journey. I was observing, feeling something inside me because my daughter is one of those probation officers. She risks her life every time they go out. I get to see her income. They're also underpaid. I saw tears on a lot of the probation officers. It also brought tears to some of us. It certainly brought tears to me, honestly. My tears were of guilt. Watching my daughter, thinking of the rest of my kids and how my kids could be one of those kids standing here giving testimony of how rough they had it. And the reason why I was feeling guilty, because I was one of those parents who had to leave my kids weeks at a time because I had to go work, because I could not find a job in Lake County that honestly paid enough for me to be able to have what I have now and to provide for my kids. That story is the story of many of our members. You've heard the testimony. Many of them who have children and families have to work 2 to 3 jobs. I watch them all the time. Sometimes they bring their kids because they can't leave them behind for meetings and things like that. All of this could be voided, including the 2 young men that gave their testimony. In my mind, I'm thinking, I wonder what kind of job their parents did, that they were not there with him. And if they were, doing the kind of work that our members do, it's totally understandable. When our parents, our members, work 2 to 3 jobs, they don't have time to spend with their families. They are worried about putting food on the table and paying the bills. That is the situation with many of our members in Lake County, and not only our members, but many of the constituents here in Lake County. But you guys all can definitely help. You guys can help by putting your hand in your heart when you are making decisions on wages in our county. Okay, you guys have that power to lift our members' wages so that they can spend more time, quality time, with their families. It's really hard for them to afford a lot. One of our members had never, ever been shopping at Costco. I feel awful and that hurt because she could not afford the membership. And just like her, there's many other members that have different situations because they can't afford it. Many of them cannot even afford to take the children to the local fair because it's getting expensive and there's no money. And nowadays things are tighter. So please, you guys have a unique opportunity to lift their wages and make their lives better. We really appreciate you looking into our proposal. And like I said, before you decide, put your hand in your heart and think about your family members who also have done IHSS or will do IHSS. Just like Siva mentioned, we are the largest employees in the county, and they deserve better. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there any other public input?
Good morning, board. My name is Simone Tapman. I'm actually reading a letter from another provider who had to go to work. So I'm going to read it like I'm her. My name is Joyce Thomas, IHSS employee for the last 3 years. I am grateful for the IHSS program, being able to care for my partner. However, the reality is disgraceful. I make more money cleaning people's toilets than I do caring for someone's loved one. A clear example of how our society and our Lake County community values, respects, loves, and cares for human life and those in need of our service. We must do better. A living wage for home health care providers is a good start. In the words of John Trudell, I'm just a human being trying to make it in a world that is very rapidly losing its understanding of being human. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do I fill this out even though I read for someone else?
All right, I know you came up, ma'am.
Good morning, board. My name is Leticia Guerrero, and I am here representing the members of Lake County. I am the coordinator for this region, and I have the pleasure of representing them at the table. And I just wanted to introduce myself to you and just let you know a little bit about the unused hours in this county in 2024. There was over 385,000 unused hours, which brings it to 9.7% in this county alone. Can you imagine how many people went without care? That's a lot of hours to have somebody without care, to have somebody without a caregiver, proper medical, everything, right? So that's a huge thing that we're looking at here is the unused hours. And as your population grows, the need for cost-effective care is going to keep on rising. People are not getting younger. People are being born with disabilities. These are things that are unavoidable. And so we want to make sure that you, in this round of negotiations, can do what's best for your constituents and value the work that they do. They give up everything one of the sisters here was talking about how she thought she was going to have a career and she paid and went to school for these things. That's not just her story. There's so many providers that had really good paying jobs that had to give up their jobs to take care of a loved one or to take care of somebody who doesn't have a family member. We see it all the time. You guys don't get to hear the stories. You get to hear a little bit here and there from the people that come here because there's thousands of providers in this community. Could you imagine if each and every one of them came to share their story? I know that what we're saying may not make a difference to you and it may not change or may not pull on your heartstrings, but these are your constituents. They vote here in this community. They shop in this community. Our program is different from any other program. You get money coming in from the federal and the state and the county, so it's not like you're paying for this whole raise yourself. So if you guys can just look at your budget, we've gone through it. We know that the county has the ability to do better than what's at the table right now. We know that you guys can do better, and you can, and you will. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Ma'am? Yep, come on up.
Good morning to the board. I'm Dr. Akila Elamine Bakit Markowski. I recently earned my doctorate in criminal justice, and I've never been an IHSS employee. Really don't know much about that industry. I worked for the state of California for a long time, and I've been retired for quite a few years now. So, but what I want to say is that I feel empathy for all the people who've spoken about what they're going through as IHSS employees. And because I was a single parent in Oakland when my marriages didn't work, as you've already met one of my sons, I have 4 more sons and a daughter. And I raised them off and on by myself. I put myself through college, Cal State University. Before I moved up here, I already had a bachelor's degree. I've earned a master's and now my doctorate in the last 15 years. It took me a long time to get the doctorate. But I want the people in the audience to know that if you keep trying, some of you will attain other things in life. It took me all these years to get my doctorate. I'm now in my early 70s, and that's okay, because as long as I'm alive, I'll be doing something better, hopefully, God willing, to uplift myself and my family and to encourage my son and my other children and my grandchildren to do better, and the people here in the audience to do better. I know that you're going through hard times. I've been through hard times too. But keep your head up, keep looking forward, keep asking God or whomever you believe in to help you. And I hope that you all will do the right thing and help them to do better with their benefits, with their wages, or whatever they're asking you for. I hope you will take it to heart and put yourself in their place if you can and help them because they need help. So please help them to the best of your ability. I know that you all gave yourselves a raise last year, at least that's what I read in the newspaper. So please help these people who need help. All of them deserve help because they're helping people. My own mother, who's 90 years old in Sacramento, is in need of help every day, and my dad, 88. My stepdad is doing what he can, and you have people come in and help my mom, who can't even get out of the bed, who can't turn over. So please help them. Because one of us might be in the same situation that other people are in today. I do everything I can to remain healthy. Eat organic food, do exercise even in my house, keep my mind stimulated. I'm always learning something new. And I'm always encouraging my children to continue learning. Because we don't know who we're going to need tomorrow. And one of you may need these same people today or tomorrow, or your children, or your loved one, your wife, your husband. Let's help these people to our best ability. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, you've already spoke, but I'll give you another minute to follow up.
Thank you. it's a lot of rhetoric that's being said, and it's a lot of hypocrisy that goes on. When you believe in privilege, privilege isn't something that's given to you, right? Privilege is something that somebody else earned over time through hard work and dedication, education, and the honor and the ability to do it. They give that privilege to their children. But the smart and intelligent parent gives it to their child with the responsibility. I don't want to give you this empire if you will abuse what I give to you. Because all of the things that come with this empire, the employees, the pay, all of their health, and everything else that falls in it, the roads, the structures,
If we can wrap it
all
up,
falls
please, sir.
upon your shoulders. Now, I'm not telling you what to do, and I'm not trying to speak of the high and the low.
If we can wrap up.
The point is, power is fleeting. 1 minute you have it, the next minute you don't. If you do not listen to what these people are saying to you, your incumbency can be removed and taken from you. And I'm going to just
Sir,
say
if we could wrap up, please.
yeah, it will be a wrap. I mean, it will be a wrap. You sit there now
Sir,
and do this.
I've given you more than enough time.
I know, and we have given you more than enough time. I'm telling you,
Sir,
I'm telling you right
we're
now,
gonna have
EJ,
to end now.
and the rest of you guys, I'm telling you, just like they're telling you. No, man, no. This needs to
Sir, you've used
I know.
way
I'm
than
going to
enough.
abuse my time. I'm going to abuse my time right now because I'm feeling what they're saying. I'm an IHSS
Sir,
employee too.
We're going to go ahead and take a recess for 10 minutes.
So listen to what we're saying, man. Listen to what we're saying.
All right, so we're back from our break. Just going to open back up into our public input, and just want to, I know there's a couple more, so I'm going to give a quick note. This period is usually 3 minutes, and I've extended times for folks because I understand this is a passionate subject for many of you, and so I didn't want to cut you off. I know that would seem insensitive, and for you to come out here is very brave. I know this is dear to your heart, but we really have to keep it to 3 minutes. If someone else wants to speak, they'll have that opportunity to speak the 3 minutes after as well. So it's very imperative to stick to that. And when we say to wrap up, please start wrapping up. We understand it's emotional, but let's try to stick to the time limit if possible. We have another public comment. I know it was turned in. Okay.
Hi, I'm in District 2 in Clear Lake. Hi, my name is Vicki Osborne. I'm a proud member of SEIU Local 2015. I want to apologize for all the frustrations and everything that is going on right now, but you guys asked us to wait 4 months. We did. The providers are upset. So we want to say sorry, but this time you guys to step up and take what we say to heart, and don't just say with your mouth. You support us in action. Show us, because we did wait the 4 months that you guys requested. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public input? All right, so we will go ahead and close public input. Thank you for giving us that insight and coming on record and talking about this. Next, we'll move on to our pet of the week from Animal Care and Control. Oh my God.
Good dog.
Look at that guy.
Good morning. Today we have, let me introduce myself. I'm Officer Belaya with Lake County Animal Care and Control. And today we have Officer Early introducing Bruce.
As Officer Palaio said, this is Bruce. He's about 4 months old. He came to us mid last month, I believe, and he was lost in Lakeport, and somebody brought him into the shelter. And he, as you may have noticed, he has tons of energy, and he's extremely friendly. He's got his shots, and he's up for adoption right now, along with lots of other sweet dogs. The shelter is located at 4949 Hellbush Drive here in Lakeport. It's near the county jail. And yeah, come down and meet your new best buddy. Thank you.
And we also wanted to remind everybody that on September 6th, we have a free microchip going on at Tractor Supply. So that's Saturday between 9 to 12 for all of Lake County. So if anybody's interested in getting a free microchip, make sure to make your way down there on September 6th. Thank you.
And that's,
bless you.
That's in Lakeport?
Yes. Cats and dogs.
Lake.
Sorry, it's in Lakeport.
Thank you.
Lakeport, okay. All right, thank you for that. It's like my kind of dog. He's no energy, just wants to hang out. I like that. All right. So we will now move on to our 6.3, consideration of a summary of adjustments made to your board's recommendation. This is where we're at, right? I just want to make sure. Budget during hearings of June 24, 2025 and June 25, 2026. B, follow-up on concepts raised by supervisors during fiscal year 25-26 recommended budget hearings where consensus was reached requesting discussion prior to the September 23rd, 2025 final recommended budget hearing. I'll give the floor to Casey Moreno and Stephen Carter.
That's right there.
Sorry for interrupting, folks.
Thank you.
Is it okay if we stay and watch some of this?
Oh, yeah. You can stay for the whole thing if you want.
We do this in LCOE, budget and all this.
All right. Casey Murno, Deputy County Administrative Officer for Finance and Budget. So today I have a fairly short presentation, but I will pause throughout the slides so you can have discussion since there's a lot of topics we're going to go over. So the recap of changes that were made during the June recommended budget hearings. So the Treasurer Tax Collector moved money from one revenue account to the other revenue account to correct it. Buildings and Grounds requested a decrease of the Building and Infrastructure Reserve Fund in the amount of $282,000 and put that in the appropriations for 18, which is maintenance. Sheriff Jail Facilities increased revenue by $101,114 to add it to a capital asset. This is something that was budgeted the prior year that was not completed, so they just moved it forward. Parks decreased the General Parks Reserve Fund 152 by $400,000 to create a capital asset for the Milltown Pool enclosure and to increase the Hammond Park project. In Budget Unit 1778 Capital Projects, there was a new capital asset added for the Middletown Senior Center Solar in the amount of $260,000. Increased the capital asset for the DA's roof, the Vista Point roof, the Law Library roof, and the Veteran Services roof, and then decreased the water line for South Main Street and Soda Bay Road, the Sheriff Admin roof, the Ag Center roof, and the Sheriff Dispatch roof. So there were no additional funds added, it was just moving them around. Going into cannabis, so the cannabis taxes that come in, including the fees and penalties, the first $500,000 is allocated to the board's discretionary funds, and then the remaining funds are split between these buckets: the 30% for planning, code enforcement, water resources, and environmental health, 30% for law enforcement, 30% for economic development, housing risk reduction, and 10% for youth programs. These are the amounts that are allocated, and I will go into further detail on the next slide. And then also on the following slide, I will go into detail on how we are proposing to use the Economic Development Housing Risk Reduction Funds, which will go into more detail at a later date. So this is currently how everything is allocated within each of those buckets. So the largest allocations are definitely in the program, which will also be on a later slide. Law enforcement has most of their funds allocated. The Economic Development Housing Risk Reduction has the Quagga Muscles, and then the youth program is mostly taken up by for library staff time.
Supervisor Sabatier?
Yeah, I just have a question. I'm fine with what this shows. If it's possible in the future to let us know what's a one-time and what's continuous for annual, just so we get a better understanding as the split continues year to year, what we should anticipate to automatically come out of those buckets, because I feel like the flow monitor installation, once that's done, I don't assume we're going to pay $25,000 a year, things like that. So just curious about that.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, that was also my comment. Is the Middle Creek Restoration one, is that one time or ongoing?
I believe that is just one time.
Yeah.
It's just been on for a while. For quite a few years, it has decreased.
Yeah, it's been spent down.
Yeah. Can you, which of these is ongoing? Are ongoing, I guess. Is the copter is it one more year?
It's
Two more
We're in the second year,
Okay.
so one more year of that.
Okay.
Code enforcement officer, that has been ongoing. The hitch is ongoing.
I'm sorry, what was that last one?
The hitch.
The hitch.
The hitch, okay.
Mhm.
Just so we have an idea today.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I'd like to understand.
And the rest of the water resources projects, those are one-time. The positions for law enforcement and the ALPR, the license plate readers, that is ongoing. Library staff time is also ongoing. Other than that, it looks like it's mostly just one time.
Okay, thank you.
And then, yeah, that's the youth.
Mm-hmm. All right. So for the economic development, housing, and risk reduction, we do have a plan which will be presented at a later date in great detail to allocate most of those funds. And so there's various HAPE-related activities for the housing as well as economic development projects that are forthcoming.
Do you know when you anticipate to give us the more detailed breakdown?
Not at this time, and it would be Lisa and Ben who would present.
And the reason I say that, I'll just put it out there. I know that we have planned, developed commercial PDC areas throughout the county that have been already decided from past generation of boards. I'd like to know if those are places that we can fully create a plan and then market and sell that plan, because I feel like we're not starting from scratch. I think past boards have already created ideas and concepts of where some of these things should be. So I'd love to see that, but that can be in that conversation.
Absolutely. So the COPTER program, community-oriented policing and targeted restoration. So we are in the second year. The first year, most of the funds that were allocated were spent. Second year, we're expecting them to be fully spent. I know there was a discussion about adding an animal control officer to this. So there's not enough unspent funds from the first year to fully fund that, but we can take money from law enforcement if that is something that we want to look into doing. The Pension Stabilization Reserve, Fund 155. So this was established to make up for revenue shortfalls, paying for the county's share of PERS. Since December of 2021, the funds were invested in the market per board direction, and so they are now able to accrue interest. We do recommend leaving the funds in the market until they are needed.
Just a quick question. Are all categorized reserves not placed in the market? I just thought automatically if it was in reserves like our 16 or 19 million, whatever that number is for our general reserves, we're holding that in a bank, we're not investing those dollars?
Completely different scenario. So all of our other reserves, including our cash on hand, is done through the Treasurer Tax Collector's Office. These funds, are held with a firm called PARS. It is a 115 trust, and it is specific for PERS. It can only be used for PERS expenses later on. They can invest in other markets, if you will, the ones that general fund cannot and the Treasurer Tax Collector cannot. So it generally has a higher return because it can invest in different areas.
So it's not dumped in our general investment policy, it's in a different place.
It's in a completely different company.
Okay, that helps me understand why it's down to zero rather than continuously saying that we have 3 million in reserves. Thank you.
The water line for the South Main Street and Soda Bay Road, this was established in 1415, and there was about 1.7 million of general fund dollars that were put into that. It has fluctuated throughout the years as funding has been needed for other projects that are in process, but don't necessarily have enough funds, so we've removed that a bit. We've also increased it as there's been additional funds available. We do recommend removing these funds from the project and funding other general fund projects.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah, question about that. So you said 1.7, and is that, so we took about 400 and something thousand out that you mentioned a few minutes ago. So what would be the current balance? Like 1.3 right now, or?
So that's what it was back in 14-15. It's grown and shrunk down.
So it's maybe 1.5?
I can't remember the exact number at this time.
Whatever it was minus the 463.
Yeah, it should be 1.535 because there was 2 million in our capital asset. I was just looking it up.
I do have concerns about removing that money. I know it's my recollection that when we partnered with the city earlier this year for the congressional earmark, which I don't think is going anywhere now, that there was some discussion about having that money available if that project did get approved by Congress. But where I understand that sets now is Congress is not moving forward, but the United States Senate is still potentially considering that some mechanism of funding for that request that went to Congress. And I know that the city of Lakeport, who is, well suited to provide water in that area, will eventually make another run at annexation, but I expect that to be a different footprint, which would only maybe take about half that county commercial corridor, still leaving a significant section of commercial area that would remain unprotected for any fire type suppression opportunities. And so my concern is not, like I could see a collaboration potentially if the city annexed, say, to 175, and then we could work out some kind of collaboration where we could continue fire suppression down to, say, all the way to the transfer station. Then if that situation presented, I'd want to have some money available to help partner with that in the interest of getting fire protection down in that commercial area. So that would be my concern about taking that money to something else.
Supervisor Sabatier?
Appreciate just even bringing this for a discussion. I know that right now we're attempting, and I mean no offense to our current public works director, we have a very limited timeline to try and get that road done. If the road gets done, I just think that this money is, I'm not going to say it's useless, but it's going to cost that much more to take apart what we just did, put a line in, and then bring that road back up to the same quality that we might do if we did the road this year. So to me, it really stems on, are we going to get this road done or not? If it's not done, I don't mind leaving it there, but there's also some complications where there needs to be a conversation with the city of Lakeport. Are we going to upgrade South Main and then it gets annexed and they take what we put general fund dollars into, or do we renegotiate what that annexation looks like? Because the prior negotiation, there was no pipeline. So to me, it's kind of a conditional situation, and it's mostly based on the road, and then based on what's the annexation agreement if we put some dollars into that. So don't disagree with leaving it there, but yeah.
Having a discussion.
And I'm certainly fine with, further discussing it depending on what the outcomes of those situations are. But if we took it out now, then we wouldn't even have the ability to talk about it further. So, but I'm open to, continuing the discussion on it and just see what happens down the road. But thank you for that.
All right. You looking for a consensus now or towards the end, or do we need to later? Okay, if you can continue then.
Well,
Oh, go ahead.
actually, what I'd like to do, no offense, is just to get a general consensus now so that we don't
Have to
we
go
get
back.
go back and forth.
So, I agree with both of you. So
Pardon me?
that provides a consensus right there. So we can move forward.
Yeah, no reallocation at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
do like the idea of having that conversation as well with Lakeport. Right?
And if your board wants, we can bring it back up to the 2 million with FBA during final budgets.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Depending on what the final budget looks like and where that
We
money
don't know
might
what
be
the numbers
needed.
are, but
All right. Please continue.
So moving on to Budget Unit 1892, Marketing and Economic Development. So there was a discussion during the recommended budget hearings on the One Team One Dream allocation of $50,000. At that time, we decided to leave it alone, but we wanted to bring back this discussion because it sounded like there was more that needed to be discussed on it. As well as the Lake County Chamber of Commerce, which is not currently budgeted, but we did receive a request from the chamber to contribute.
All right.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, start out, and then I don't know who's first between you
ahead.
two after.
we were
So,
tied.
there's no One Team, One Dream this year. So there's no need to allocate $50,000 to that at all. To me, One Team, One Dream was a way for us to support our local businesses. I'm looking for any opportunity to do that. So open for any other suggestion for the future. As far as the Lake County Chamber, I know that I had requested that we become a member of the Lake County Chamber. As far as what their request is, I have heard of the request. I don't see the request. But I'm more interested in becoming a member and participating and engaging and maybe adding it to our committee list so that we can assign specific supervisors as member and alternate to ensure that we have continued engagement with the chamber directly from the board. But that's all I'm looking for at the moment.
Go ahead, and then.
I know that they are struggling a bit, and I've been trying to get a meeting, and our calendars have not jived. I believe that we do need to be supporting our chamber. So I think during the budgeting in June, we were opposed anyway, and there is not a One Team, One Dream, but I think we were wanting to pull that back anyway. And I would like to actually become a member as well as see what other needs that they need from the county for the from the chamber. Thank you.
Share.
Well, starting with the One Team, One Dream, yeah, it's my understanding too that they're not moving forward in that same format, but they're not disappearing. I think they were going to try to transition to another, don't want the right word, but another type of
Competition. Yeah.
job training type thing, which I think is the important part of that. But in the format, so I'm, I don't think that we would be looking at still providing that amount of money. Maybe there's another way we can still engage with them. As far as the chamber, they did send all the supervisors a requested proposal a couple of weeks ago, which was basically asking for $60,000 of county money to help operate the visitor center and keep that open. I've had a lot of conversations and investigating and looking into issues with the chamber, and I know up until 2019, the county was a partner and did provide cash anywhere from $30,000 to $100,000 a year over the course of many years until 2019, when all the funding was taken and I believe redirected to TID on the share of marketing money, which I think TID is important too. I'm not saying we don't fund that, but I think it's my position that we should get back to helping the chamber. I know that they cannot sustain running that visitor center on memberships alone. That's not going to happen, and if they don't get a path to assistance somewhere this year, then most likely that visitor center would close, and I feel like it's serving an important purpose in the county in our marketing program because it's no one entity, I think, can't take care of the marketing. I think it's a team effort, and I think the chamber plays a significant role in being available and providing information to not only residents that are here, but people that potentially want to visit the county or that are coming into the county and need assistance. So I'm in favor of funding their requests to ask for support in some format, at least $50,000. That's where I'm at with that.
Supervisor Pyska?
Well, I do think that these programs are great. One Team, One Dream is fantastic. Again, we're not really talking about it for this year, but it will come back again. And the Chamber of Commerce is a great organization too, but these are both special interest groups. They, with the Chamber, if you're a member, you're supporting other members, and we have the business community and folks out there that are not members of the Chamber. And so they're not being supported in the same way Chamber members are. So across the board, I want to be really careful about supporting special interest groups. I do understand the marketing piece of this and supporting tourism with our visitor center. We have the building there. We're investing quite a lot this year on the roof. I am okay about talking about some kind of contribution to support the visitor center, because I do think that that's important, and that supports everyone, not just the business members who are paying into membership. So I am opposed to joining the Chamber as a membership. They are an advocacy group. They do lobbying. Sometimes they are adversarial to county positions, so we have to be really careful about that. I do agree. I don't know what the number is today. We could look into that, but I think we need to be very separate about how we interact and how we fund special interest groups. Make sure that everything that we're doing is for the benefit of all of our residents and all of our taxpayers.
Yes, Supervisor Pyska, those are good comments, and I'm certainly open to framing it in a way that any contribution that we make is meant towards operating the visitor center and providing that type of assistance to the county. I'm not suggesting that our contribution be used for supporting members in the same way that their membership would be, because they have that. I think it's really kind of two pieces. I think they've got their membership work, and I think they've got really work that I see as far as the visitor center as being somewhat of a county function to be part of the piece that's supporting economic development, people coming into the county. So, but I'm certainly open, and I realize we may not be able to make a decision today. We don't know what our carryovers are. We don't know all the financial pieces, so I understand that we may have to look at that, but I would at least want to hope that we don't remove anything with that today, and we could finalize it by the time we do a final budget in September. Thank you.
All right. Well, for me, I'm obviously on board with both of them. The reason I say that is because I know we've talked about One Team, One Dream before being, I know it's its own nonprofit, but it's also all of the businesses, 26 out of the 31 small businesses that have won, that go through a competition, whereas it's based off of the business and where it's at and their plan. So they're given the opportunity to prove why they would succeed, and they've all, 84% of them have succeeded. And it's all around the county. There's Middletown, there's Upper Lake, there's been businesses in each and every district that have benefited from this. So I still see it as something that does help the county. It's helped the county thrive in the businesses that are at hand. I know one of them is Grilligan's Island, who moved to Lakeport and now is back in Lucerne. So for me, I think it's a program that would help. I also feel the same about the Chamber. I know it has its qualms, and I know before there was budgets in place for it to have specific amounts. I do like the idea that you brought forward, Vice Chair, that way it's like a backfill rather than focusing on their goals and mission and things like that. So for me, I'm still on board with both of them, but of course, the will of the board, I'm willing to look at other ways if it doesn't go that way, if it makes sense. Supervisor Sabatier.
I think one of the unfortunate situations that this county has is there are 2 chambers of commerce. And so I just want to make sure that we are looking at it from the perspective of how are we choosing? Are we stating one is the chamber and the other one is not? Because one chamber is completely voluntary and running a visitor center as we speak in the city of Clear Lake, and that is the 2 words Clear Lake Chamber of Commerce. That covers more than just the city itself. It goes outside of that area. And then there's the Lake County Chamber of Commerce, and I just think that we need to, our actions speak loudly, and we'll say one thing to one chamber and another to another. So just wanted to put that out there.
CAO?
Yes. Chair, with your permission, may Ben Rinkelman come up? We've been discussing and talking about possibilities, and I just want him to briefly share the information that we've received and who we spoke with.
Ben, please.
Good morning, Board. Ben Rickelman, Deputy County Administrative Officer. As County Administrator Parker mentioned, I've been speaking to a few different organizations throughout the county and seeing what are possible points of collaboration. I think it's a good point that chambers are often independent voices of advocacy, but at the other side, they support, they're an important node of collaboration within the business community. So we kind of talked about the ecosystem of economic development and what the different organizations do. I think there could be a little more refinement on what the county is supporting with the chamber. So I think taking this time before the final budget is a great idea. One idea that was thrown out that got a decent amount of buy-in was a leadership program, which a lot of chambers operate, and that might be something specific the county can support that then keeps that separation. It's a little tall people. So leadership programs, they're for kind of mid-career professionals. It provides an intense networking and kind of training. And I've seen a lot of success with these programs in different size communities. There's a pretty successful one in Napa. It really does depend on who you're working with. So Mendocino ran into some trouble there, so we would have to be careful with that and just really think it through. That's one possibility. So I think it's an ongoing conversation. I got some different directions where they think the chamber could go, and we also face the issue of 2 chambers for a county of 68,000 people. So I understand there's need, but I think further conversation would be useful.
Thanks, Ben. That's all. Okay. All right. Supervisor Sabatier?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that there are times where it's not confusing, but we seem to have a lot of different siloed approaches to this. We have Lake EDC, we have the TID, we have the chambers, we have our business associations, and it would be maybe nice to get a roundtable discussion on how best to move forward so that we're not just siloed and working individually on different things and really moving the county forward when it comes to attracting new businesses and ensuring our businesses are sustainable for the future. I don't think it's one, I think it's all, because I feel sometimes there's overlap for a lot of those different things. Because some of the things that we supported, for example, the TID, we used to give those funds over to the chamber, then we moved that over to and started supporting the TID, and I just think it requires a bigger discussion.
In other counties, I know that TID usually works collaboratively with the chambers. Supervisor Pyska?
Is that what you're talking about, Ben? With the leadership group, is looking at all these partners, figuring out how to...
Yeah, I mean, there could be a larger ecosystem conversation, Supervisor Sabatier, with we kind of have 5 different organizations. The EDC does a lot with staff of 2. They bring in a fair amount of grant money. They have several different programs. So I think they're a great organization. There are some, especially in rural counties, where the TID and the chambers combine. So Del Norte's like that. Siskiyou is too. So I think it's a great conversation to have.
Yeah, I think we should look into this a little bit more. That One Team, One Dream utilizes the EDC's programs and programs that we get grants through CDBG. So I think that there's a better way for us to work on this, and maybe this leadership ecosystem, is that what you're calling it?
Yeah, I guess those are 2 different thoughts there. So I was just talking about kind of, you have the TID,
Yeah.
you have the chamber, you have the EDC, you have the cities doing their thing, we have the county. Are we all rolling together? Are we having synergies there? And then the leadership is just, that could be a particular program that could touch all those organizations and hopefully people throughout the county. Just something else to think of too.
Okay. Well, I think that's a great conversation for us to continue to have.
All right. Anything else? Anything else? Do we need, are we doing public input completely?
Oh, I thought we were, sorry.
Oh, we should though, since we're stuck.
Are we done with this item?
I don't think
No.
we're done.
No?
with the
All right,
item.
well, let's continue and then okay.
Sorry.
So there were a couple of requests for $50,000 that was made during the recommended budget hearings. The first $50,000 was for victim witness. So it was previously anticipated that the federal funds for VOCA were going to be non-existent, but the state budget did include one-time general fund support. So at this time, I do not believe that is needed. The other $50,000 was for the veterans experiencing homelessness. We do recommend discussing next steps with social services if this is something your board would like us to pursue.
Supervisor Sabatier?
So the first 50, glad that the state did the one-time, still a one-time. So every year we'll have that discussion on making sure how we can have victim advocates continue to do their job, because that's important. For the 50,000, that was a much larger number than I had anticipated. I don't know if I accidentally said 50,000 at the last one, but in my mind it was always like 20, 25,000 or something along those lines. I do think that it would require a discussion between our veteran services, social services, behavioral health, and continuum of care on where's the gaps. We have 14 veterans that we've identified as being homeless. Where are the gaps in trying to ensure that they're getting access to services? We received a letter of request from, I think it was the VFW, saying that they're running low on funds. If we identify those gaps, those groups can do services at a much lower rate than we could. And how do we first identify those gaps and then give us a proposal on how you can fill in those gaps? That's what I would like to continue those discussions with, rather than a specific amount or anything like that.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm in favor of having the discussions, and hopefully our housing office can also be involved in that, because I know that Ms. Judd has been contacted by some of the veterans groups, at least as I recall, looking for options that they can help to stand up some more homeless veteran housing, and I don't think they have a solid plan in place right now, but I would just like to make sure that Ms. Judd was involved in those conversations as well.
Agreed.
All right.
Those mentioned during the recommended budget hearings, there are extraordinary budget requests from departments. So this is a summary. I will go into further detail on the next 2 slides of what these requests actually are. But there is currently about $9.6 million requested as one-time funding. At this point, which it is still too early to know how much FBA we're going to have or carry over, it's looking like we're going to have about $8 million, but also those accruals have not been posted. They were just due to the auditor's office this last Friday, so that number could change drastically. It could be millions of dollars higher or lower. So, but at this point, it does look like we're going to have a fair amount of carryover. So the Registrar of Voters, Budget Unit 1451, has requested salary for a half-time permanent position. So that is not one-time funding, but it would be an extraordinary request. The Probation Department has asked for a solar backup battery. Animal Control has asked for surveillance cameras. Lamson Airfield has requested for matches for various apron designs, as well as the wildfire hazard assessment. Grants are pending on a few of these, but as long as they go through, they would like the funds for the match. The jail has multiple requests, including smoke detector and fire alarm system, HVAC control system, jail phase 1 roof, portable radios, and security camera system. Next is parks. So Budget Unit 7011, the Lucerne Community Garden Park, Nice Clubhouse, Mount Canocti Park, and then museums has the remaining requests with the Lower Lake Schoolhouse Museum, historic restoration and seismic retrofit, Courthouse Museum, historic restoration, inventory as needed for exhibits and museum operations, exhibit preservation and collection, and an extra help office manager.
Supervisor Sabatier?
I feel like we should talk about some of those numbers.
Sure.
So I understand the reason for all the requests. Is there no USDA grants available anymore? I feel like rural development usually has things that would be available for our facility upgrades or things like that. I know we've had USDA here. I've gone to some USDA sessions to learn what's available and whatnot. I don't know what is happening. I don't know if there's been a lot of changes in the last 6 months, because there has been a lot of changes in the last 6 months. But I feel like the museums and the jail roof has the potential, due to the fact that they're public facilities, for those types of grants to do the improvements that are there, rather than this feels like a request of just straight up general fund, which is a lot of money, and an important thing to make sure that, you know, the jail has a good roof and that our museums don't get destroyed when those are historic buildings. But at the same time, I would like to know if we've attempted to get grants for those, and if we have not, what grants could be available for those.
I will reach out to Public Services and ask them about that, and also do some research to see if there's any USDA loans, because I'm not sure.
I was hoping for grants, not loans, but
Sorry, yeah, grants.
Go ahead, Ben.
Wasn't planning to comment on this, but was at a conference about a month ago, and the USDA Rural Development State Rep was there, and there's a decent amount of funding, so I think it's something we could pursue.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
These are just requests, too.
Yes.
We're going to just keep looking at these.
Yeah.
We're not necessarily approving them all today.
but it locks in some money,
Right,
which
but
could be utilized for other things that could happen this year.
Well, I mean, I think I don't think we're locking, I'm not in favor of locking this in right now. So these are the requests that are coming to us, and we're just considering them right now. We're just looking at them and not making a decision, right?
Correct. Between recommended and final budget, these kind of requests are always there. It just isn't as visual for your board.
Mhm.
These are the ones that have been submitted basically for your board and through admin to consider, depending on how much FBA we have available. So if you guys had some kind of preference, we can go down that way, but lock in all of them? Absolutely not right now.
I think our preference is looking for other funding, that they are priorities, but we're not necessarily going to be able to fund them all ourselves.
Go ahead, Helen.
Yeah, I think looking to see what we can find grants for would be huge, and then coming back to us with, where we are in that, as far as, because it would really be nice to get some of these historical courthouses and museums shored up, and I know those are the big ticket items. Thank you.
I did want to bring up one more thing. The GL roof is very high on our priority list because it's leaking and we have a lot of potential lawsuits. So we will talk to Public Services about potential grants, but that is high on our list for our liability.
There are no leaks.
Okay, good to know, good to know.
Also with I was just at RCRC last week, and I was talking with Patrick, the CEO director, and he recommended about the Nice Clubhouse, because I talked to him about, because he lives in Nice, he has a house in Nice, and I was telling him about the clubhouse, if you ever seen it, and he recommended that I talk with a gentleman in Golden State Finance, so that may be a way in that capacity as well. So I still have to talk to Mr. Burris about that. I just talked to Pat last Thursday, so I still need to follow up with that, but that may be a way to take some of that off, so. But I don't know if there's, go ahead, Vice Chair.
Yeah, I'm in favor of, obviously, we don't know what our carryover is, so we can't make decisions on this, but happy to continue to look at all of this once we know those numbers.
Absolutely. So next is the veterinarian position. So it was mentioned during the recommended budget hearing that we look at what the salary is. So the HR department did do a salary bench, and it was not, they didn't have too many responses on it because a lot of counties are contracting these services out. We have looked at contracts and will continue to look at contracts. Right now, that is probably going to be the best bet, but we would like to recommend waiting until the new director is hired before any salaries are changed.
As interim animal control director, I do have one quick thing to add on that. I am in talks with UC Davis for potential clinics on site and being able to do more services with the staff we have. It isn't very far along, but I'm in the initial talks to where that would help out quite a bit in the interim of potentially finding a veterinarian.
Supervisor Sabatier.
And I know that later on there's the potential of, we added the extra item, so obviously there's the potential for a director coming soon. But this has been an ongoing problem for the past 2 or 3 directors. I don't think we should be waiting for another director. I think we need to push forward as a board that we want to see this change. And so I think if this contract that you're looking at doesn't pan out, I think we need to look at what is the sign-on bonus for this, what is the other benefits for this. I think we need to look at maybe not just salaries, but what is not attractive to bringing people here. I know there's a small number of vets available to the entire state or even in the country, but this has been an ongoing problem that I don't think, I think it's going to require us making some deep changes, and waiting for a new director is just kicking the can down the road, in my opinion.
And from what I have learned, it's not just potentially a salary, it would also be the equipment we have. If we, through capital assets, had newer equipment, it would draw more veterinarians as well. So there is a vast array of what we could potentially do to try.
Yeah, I'm in favor of keeping this conversation going, and if we get a director hired, then we can collaborate with them, but that could be months out, or it could be a year. I don't know. So I think we definitely should keep this on our radar for trying to come up with the right solution, whatever that may be. I don't have an answer today, but.
Supervisor Owen?
I had met with Dogwood and some local people last week pertaining to spay and neuter clinics. And and I wish I had my notes in front of me, and I don't, so I'm gonna really butcher the names. But basically, there's a way that we can have a team of vets come in to address some of our spay and neuter needs. And one of the things that we've been talking about is possibly looking into, once our new director comes on board, bringing forward some type of a mobile clinic, perhaps, adding to our animal control, to be able to go into areas and having that locked up behind gates safely. But I'm waiting for our new director to come on board so that we can start addressing this. But this is something I have been looking into, and it is really important here in the county.
All right. Want to continue?
Well, yeah, I'll let her continue, but that sounds like great ideas. Just, we'd need grants and a lot more general fund.
So a few other topics that were mentioned during the budget hearings is the department transfer sheet. We do have an Excel spreadsheet that we do track and ensure that everything is balanced, so that is attached to the board item. Lake Family Resource Center annual report, that will be presented at a future date, and the cooling and warming centers will be discussed also at a future date. And that's it.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and we've been asking questions, so I'm going to open it up to the public for anyone that would like to speak, and we'll bring it back to the board. All right.
Good morning, Tom Lasik. Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair. I'd like to cycle back to the Chamber of Commerce conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I was pleased to see the dialogue that was going back and forth between the supervisors. There's a really critical point that Supervisor Pyska brought up, which is the legal waters of the gift of public funds. There are ways it can be done, but the main thing to be mindful of is that you just can't give them $50,000. It has to be for perhaps like a specific project or set of projects that the county still has control over. So in addition to the optics of, which economic entity does the county like the most, and you do need to be mindful of that. But the main concern is the conflict of interest in violating any look or feel of gift of public funds. There are ways to do it. It sounds like you are navigating those waters, but that's one thing to be mindful of. The other one is the memberships. There are chambers of commerce where supervisors are members that are funded by the county, but you still have to be mindful of conflict of interest. They are an advocacy group, and there are certain rocky waters to be mindful of. And thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning, Board. Amanda Martin. I am the CEO of the Lake County Chamber of Commerce. Okay, so I'm excited for this opportunity to have this discussion with you, and especially the interest in having the larger discussion of what everyone's various roles are. The Lake County Chamber of Commerce, our visitor center function, the Tourism Improvement District, the Economic Development Corporation, the Clear Lake Chamber of Commerce, all great organizations doing great things, but it is unusual that here in Lake County, we are more siloed, that we have 3 separate entities. So I emailed all of you a proposal for this request detailing out our request for $60,000 to the Lake County Chamber of Commerce. You received it on August 4th, and I also just gave printed versions, so you should be able to have that in front of you. So in that proposal, I also do a regional comparison, and I show that the Ukiah's Visitor Center is operated through the Greater Ukiah Business and Tourism Alliance, which is a merged nonprofit that includes Visit Ukiah, the Chamber, and the Main Street organization. So then taking a look at Calistoga, Calistoga Chamber holds a formal contract with the City of Calistoga to provide destination marketing and manages the town's Welcome Center. So this funding is drawn from the city's portion of the Napa Valley Tourism Improvement District. Okay, taking a look at St. Helena. St. Helena provides an annual $100,000 contract to the St. Helena Chamber for destination marketing and operating the visitor center. Okay, looking at Amador County, a rural California county with a modest economic base, more like ours in Lake County, provides roughly $80,000 in transient occupancy tax to its chamber to run the visitor center. To make it brief and go off script here, the case that I'm trying to make for the Lake County Chamber of Commerce is for us to get the support back from the county for the visitor center function. We have been running and operating the Vista Point Visitor Center for 22 years, and for the past 6 years, the Lake County Chamber of Commerce has received 0 funding support from the County of Lake. So this means that our membership, our small businesses in Lake County, have been keeping the visitor center doors open during the toughest years, the last 6 years, during the pandemic, during shutdowns, during you name it. And so what I'm advocating for here is, please, if the county can bring back the fiscal support that was there up until 2019, that ranged up to $75,000 a year. And this was for the visitor center function and destination marketing. Now, I understand now that we have a TID that's doing a great destination marketing function. So I'm really excited to hear that there's interest in looking at everybody's various roles and finding ways that we can collaborate more together. But what I'm asking is, please, if we can bring back the county funding support so that the chamber can get back to really serving our membership in addition to our visitor center activities. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Board. Rachel Dillman-Parsons, Social Services Director. Just a brief couple comments for you on the veterans homelessness portion of the presentation. Our department only has one program that currently serves veterans. That's Section 8 VASH, which provides vouchers. We have 20 vouchers, 14 of which are issued, 6 of which are available. Those referrals come to us from Veterans Services. So if you know of some homeless veterans who need to be housed, please get them connected with Veterans Services. They're for the public as well, my general announcement here. So they can get those referrals to us. We did meet with them last week and they didn't have any on radar. Also, there's a grant out there. Home Key Plus just changed their notice of funding to focus funding on housing for homeless veterans. I've shared that with a few partners, and that is a potential resource. So very welcome to, very open to collaborating. Just let me know. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any on Zoom? Oh, we have someone coming up. Go ahead.
Good morning, Board. Margot Kambara. Thank you for your attention to good governance. Your board is one of the final decision makers in the county. Objectivity of your board is essential, and the appearance of objectivity is important, as Supervisor Paiska has pointed out. And I'm speaking specifically about the Chamber of Commerce proposal. Supervisor Paiska raises significant concerns about fairness and caution when working with special interest groups. And in that fairness, we're talking about public funds, as another speaker brought to your board's attention. And what does that fairness look like in the application of public funds? What about other nonprofits in the county who may be also doing good work on behalf of Lake County, but get no public funds from the County of Lake? Also, what about the other business associations? You know, we have the Kelseyville Business Association, we have the Glen Haven Business Association. They too are deserving of help, are they not? So where do you draw the line on what is fair? But again, as another public speaker brought up, optics are important. You are the final decision makers in the county, and we all residents are counting on your good judgment to be fair when we have an issue for your board to decide. And we're counting on that fairness because we are not all members of, say, a Chamber of Commerce. But that is not to say that the Chamber of Commerce does not do good work. Support of chamber projects, or perhaps a program like the Visitor Center, that deserves another look. And probably support. So I think there was discussion among your members that, yes, more discussion is needed on this subject, especially as Supervisor Sabatier said, oh, too siloed. Well, maybe we do need to look at economic development on a more broader scale and unsilo the effort. And that covers my points. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you. Any other public input? All right. Bring it back to the board. Supervisor Pyska.
Yeah, so we talked about the cannabis revenue and how we're spending that and one-time funding and ongoing funding. And during budgets, I brought up my point that I feel like we need to take a really hard look at the discretionary funding, because that's $500,000 right off the top, which is an incredibly high percentage of the cannabis revenue coming in. That we should be providing services for our constituents. So I would, we came up with this policy years ago. It was my first year on the board, and I remember in my first budget hearing, after this had gone through the Cannabis Committee, I recommended that we also put some of this funding towards roads. And at that point, the committee had said, well, this is all the work that we've done, and so we put this into play. It's been great. We've been funding a lot of things, but I think we're reworking our cannabis ordinance. Our revenue is in a different place than it was when we developed this policy, that we should look at this again and maybe bring back that cannabis policy committee to look at how we use this revenue going forward. Oh, and the other part of it that I brought up at budgets was also funding recreation, which we're trying to support across the county for all ages.
Supervisor Sabatier.
So I'm glad that was brought up, because I thought that was a missing part of our conversation already. So I know in the memo it talks about, do we want to make any changes? As far as I'm concerned, the 30-30, 30-10, it works. I think that we're looking to get a little bit more transparency in what the large bucket is and where we're going with that, and you just gave some of that idea, and looking forward to those further discussions. As far as the policy, I think there are some things in the cannabis policy, especially the discretionary funds, that I feel we have created interpretations of the policy. For example, from what I understand from my colleagues, those who are leaving are told they could only spend 50% and leave 50%, which is the right thing to do, but that's not within the policy either. So I think we should probably look at changing some of those things if we're going to continue with discretionary funds. At this moment in time, I would prefer, because my district, very selfishly, is a city district mostly, that I maintain the level of discretionary funds that I receive every year, but am open to any discussion, because it's not up to me, it's up to the board.
Vice Chair.
Well, as far as the discretionary, I do agree that we need to take a look at the policy. I'm not in favor of changing the discretionary funding amount this year. I'd be open to, for the next fiscal year coming after this, having a discussion, but I think we've essentially already, I know we haven't adopted our budget, but we approved an operating budget with that amount there. So I think I don't want to change it this year. Maybe in 26, 27, I'd be.
Yeah, that was actually my recommendation, is to take this year and look at it for next year.
Okay, so leave it like it is now, and then we'll have a further discussion. But I do think that was a good point on the I guess operating procedure on you can spend 50%, but I haven't actually seen that in a document or any kind of a guide to know how that works.
Yeah, I'm willing to look at those as well. The policies, like you're mentioning, just leaving it open for interpretation doesn't really do us any service. I mean, we can discuss it next year when you're talking about the discretionary funds as a whole, but I'm not in in favor of eliminating it. Even if I'm not the supervisor, I would like the next supervisor to have that opportunity, because there's specific things that need to be done in the community that you're not going to get 3 people to vote on, because they're going to want to do what they need to do in their district. So there's specific things that I try to do my best to make sure that it goes to something that is going to benefit everybody, or at least tailor it that way. But it's just something that I think is important. So yeah.
I agree that it's, the discretionary funds are important. I know right now, giving to the Lower Lake Schoolhouse Museum and other projects, otherwise they wouldn't get that attention. And so being able to do that is huge for me. Helping the fire department in some things is another thing that I'm doing. So I do want to keep that there. I would also, I believe towards the end of the year, I think the discounts, the 50% reduction in taxes will be expiring. Is that correct? And so we're looking at that coming, before us. And I'd like to see some contributions go into the roads as well.
Supervisor Pyska?
Yeah, just to be clear, I'm not asking for discretionary to go away, just to come down to a level that is better aligned with the revenue that we're coming in, maybe it's a percentage of the revenue that comes in, because when it was set at this level, the revenue coming in was much, much higher than it is now. So it seems disproportionate to me. I know that we need to have projects done in our districts, but I want to look at what that amount is. And is it a sliding scale, or, does it stay the same? I don't know. So that it's just worth having a conversation.
Supervisor Sabatier?
And I can appreciate that. I have not concerns, but I think the fact that we have $2 million unallocated speaks to itself, that we have collected more than we've found places to spend it. Now we're being asked to find places to spend it, and if we weren't telling people we're saving for this $5 million project, there's a question mark as to why did we save that much money in the first place, right? And that was never stated to us, and we never made those specific statements either. But there's also the $5.9 million that we're not talking about that's also from cannabis, that is in the salary stabilization fund, which we've never touched. And again, it is general fund. We're allowed to do whatever we want with those things. I don't think cannabis was being taxed so we can hold on to $5.9 million. So I want to have those discussions as well as to what is the plan for that, because if we're not touching it and it's sitting in an account, is that what really was the intention of cannabis? And is that still our intention today as this board? So I know that I also made the request, and there seemed to be consensus, because I reviewed that video, to move it in a more transparent place, because we don't have it listed in our reserves, but it's there. And so I just want to make sure and remind, there's $5.9 million plus the $2 million in taxes from cannabis that we have not utilized. And I think that my personal opinion is people voted for us to use those taxes, not save those taxes.
Vice Chair?
And I just want to be clear too, that when I said discussing it, that's not to get rid of, our discretionary money. It was just more, I'm willing to discuss the amounts, and also if we did ultimately decrease it, then maybe we can have a discussion about a consensus on where the right place to put that amount that we reduce would go to benefit the whole county. So I didn't want to get rid of it, though. Just wanted to be clear about that.
No. I'm just going to reiterate that I would really like to see some funds going towards our road systems here. That's my biggest complaint throughout the county, is our county roads. I would like to see some of that perhaps be, they're using the roads. The cannabis drivers, they're using the roads, and I think contributing to them would be a benefit to everybody.
Well, I agree with that, especially with the roads. My district has a PCI average of 17, so I would love to see that. I also wanted to mention that I think when we had that discussion about discretionary, there was a percentage, I think, proposed, but it changed. Do you remember that? It was a percentage, and then it was changed to just the amount. I just remember in the early stages, there was, does that sound familiar?
Remember that?
I don't believe so on the discretionary, but the 30-30-10, there was a lot of talk of 15-15-15, all of that.
Yes.
But I don't recall, I think discretionary was 100 grand from the start.
Okay. Because I thought it was a percentage as well, but that, early days and, I was green, so. Go ahead, Supervisor Pyska.
We did play with those percentages
Yeah.
quite a bit, particularly with law enforcement. I remember that in the early days. Yeah, I mean, as we heard this morning, like, our road crews can get a lot done. And it's from the beginning, I've always thought that we should have used this money for some road projects that our crews can do. So, should we talk about starting a committee to relook at this? Or bring back do we still have that committee? Probably not, it's not on our books. But we have the next, I guess, 6 to 9 months to work on it. So I recommend, we don't have to do it today, putting together a committee again to look at the policy.
Yeah?
I'm
Yeah.
fine with staff bringing something to us at mid-year, something along those lines. I'm fine with the committee if people want to spend time on that, but as far as I'm concerned, I think I'm good with staff just bringing us options based on the conversation they just heard.
Okay, all right.
All right.
I'm okay with that too.
Sir, we've closed public input, sorry. All right. Anything else to add? CAO, it looks like you want to say something.
Thank you, Chair. All I wanted to just ask staff to make sure that they're clear on all these different directions that we just went through. If you need any clarification, if you have questions before we move on.
So what I have is that we're going to look at all the buckets and potentially add a bucket for roads, potentially increase the recreation or the youth programs bucket. We're going to update the policy to reflect the current amounts that are in there, which wasn't discussed, but canned grants are no longer a thing, so I was going to remove that. Look at the discretionary amount to be effective for 26-27 and tighten the policy to include that 50% reduction if a supervisor is leaving their seat, and the 5.9 million, which is in the salary stabilization fund. Did I miss anything?
Just real quick, do you all have, and you might have said this, a percentage of what was used in the CAN grants? Because I remember there was a time when the CAN grants, people would apply, but then there was no, like, they didn't finish using it or whatever.
I have it as all being used.
It's all been used?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was reallocated if
Got
it
it.
wasn't. And it was 500,000, and that has all been used.
Okay, thank you. I think CAO, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I would like to expand what you just stated to all the items that you went through just now in your presentation.
Not just
Do you have any questions or clarifications?
I do not.
Okay.
Stephen?
Stephen does.
I do. So when we're relooking at the percentages and what the buckets can go in, the reason why these specific ones were picked is because that's what the voters approved.
Right.
It is a general tax, so it is relatively general fund. I wanted the consensus from the board on, are we treating it like a general tax so we can do things like roads and other things? Or are we trying to stick to what the voters approved and just manipulate it a little bit to fit into a bucket?
Go ahead, Supervisor Sabatier.
I think you can be creative with the buckets. Risk reduction, making roads better, is reducing the risk of the safety that our roads are. I just think that there's ways to use what we already have, just maybe identifying it more in the description of what it could be used for without changing the buckets.
That's
just a thought.
what I'm getting at, yes.
Well,
Pyska.
and also our discretionary doesn't fit within those buckets either. So there is a latitude, and maybe you need some sub-buckets.
Gosh.
One of the things you mentioned about, you said the You know what, I lost it because you brought something up and I just like, yeah.
Can I help you out?
Yeah, go ahead.
While I'm talking, maybe I'll come back. I just want to, I believe there was consensus. I know that you are working. We're not going to, nobody's stopping you from working with the UC Davis potential, but that whether or not things move forward with a new animal control director sooner than later, that we come back for a larger discussion because we don't want to have to wait till we have something permanent in case that it takes that amount of time, as Vice Chair mentioned, just because there are some issues, and it seemed that there was consensus up here to say, yes, let's keep moving forward and trying to resolve some of the issues that we're seeing out there with animal control, whether that's our vet or our pet population that we have.
I thought we had consensus.
I just wanted to make sure it was on their list.
Yeah.
I
To
did
continue that conversation.
I do remember what it was, and it was just to support what was said, and that was, you know, what it was voted on to use this funding. I don't think there will be any complaints from the public that we used it on roads, for sure, 100%. I know it was law enforcement, code enforcement. Those were the main things. Fight, you know, if there's a way to support, you know, resiliency, of course, but roads for sure. I know if it wasn't voted on that way and we used it for that, I don't think they would complain.
Correct me if I'm wrong, it was law enforcement, environmental quality, and youth education or something like that? I believe it was those three things.
Because of the state level too, as well, yeah.
All right, so go ahead, you want something?
No, I'm good.
Sure? All right, making sure. All right, so if you have direction from here, I think we can move on from this item 6.3, and it was a good discussion. Thank you for tuning in on this one, and thank you again for the presentation and discussion on that. All right, did you have something to add, or did you want to recommend? I know we have to do some of the pulled items, so we'll just go ahead and move up on those, because our next is until 1 o'clock. And so we'll go to 5.2, approve licensing agreement between the County of Lake and Mandala Springs Wellness Retreat Center for the Valley Fire 10th Anniversary Event. And this is Supervisor Pyska's, was pulled by Supervisor Sabatier. Yeah, go ahead.
I had a brief conversation with County Council, Mr. Guintivano, and I was just concerned about number 5, which is the duration. It says this agreement shall become effective upon execution, which if approved today would be today's date, and expire no later than 5 p.m. September 12th, 2025. Because of some of the things that it says the licensee, which is us, would do, such as maintain the premises in clean and orderly condition, I felt slightly uncomfortable that would be from 8/19 to 9/12, and I'm wondering if we can shorten that time so it doesn't mess up the event, because I think the event is a great idea and a thing that should happen flawlessly, but not wanting to take on the liability of date ranges that I feel shouldn't cover us. So open to the idea, and I know I had a brief conversation as well with Supervisor Pyska, but I'm not the one to dictate what's the specific time frame or date, so I just was wanting to open up the dialogue for that.
No, I don't have a problem with that. Did you have a recommendation?
Lloyd, please.
Sure. So your board, the proposed license agreement could be amended to have the, under Section 5, to have the effective date be the same date, if your board wishes to impose that at a specific time, which would be presumably 8 a.m. It's up to your board. That way, the effective date would be September 12, 2025, 8 a.m., and then the remainder language would be retained to expire no later than 5 p.m. on September 12, 2025. That is one possible option for your board. And just for clarification, I think this is for, just to make sure, item 5.2.
Yep, I'm okay with that.
All right, CAO?
Yes, may I make a recommendation just to expand it a day on each side for setup, breakdown, cleanup, whatever. I mean, you never know, but if you want to set up the day before, you want to have that luxury of doing so. And if it takes an additional day to do trash cleanup or whatever, you want that ability to enter the property. Just a recommendation.
All right.
I'm okay with that too. It's better than 8/19 to 9/12.
Yep, that's fine.
All right, I'll open it up for the public if there's any comment on this. bring it back to the board.
Do you want to make the motion for the day before and the day after?
Yes, so the recommended amendments in particular to section 5 of the proposed license/use agreement, it would state that this agreement shall become effective on September 11, 2025, 8 a.m. and expire no later than 5 p.m. on September 13, 2025, unless terminated prior to that date with 10 calendar days notice from either party. The agreement may be extended by mutual consent of the parties. That's how it would read under the recommended proposed language for your board. And so with that proposed amendment, your board, the motion would be to approve the licensing agreement between the County of Lake and Mandala Springs Wellness Retreat Center for the Valley Fire 10th anniversary event, and as amended, and authorize the board chair to sign.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion carries 5-0.
I have a question. We already have the coverage for the 13th, correct? Since it's at a county park? Or do we need to have this also pertain to the Middletown County Park by the library? Or the Saturday?
That's a county property?
Yes, that's what I was asking, if we're already covered or if we need to do something for that.
The way that I saw it was this was specific to
This-
Mandala and their property, kind of like a use agreement with them to
Okay.
utilize their land.
And that's what I thought too, but I just wanted to clarify to make sure that we're good. I didn't need to add anything.
All right.
It's county property.
Right, I marked 5-7, but I know there's one in between.
5.1.
5.1, oh, that's why. Approve use of staff time exceeding 8 hours in support of September 12th and 13th Valley Fire observances. Supervisor Sabatier.
Yeah, thank you for this. Again, love the idea of the 10-year anniversary and recognizing both the rebirth and the trauma and just recognizing all the efforts, the loss, all those things. So I don't have any issues with that. What I wanted to do was, number one, pull this so we can have at least a little bit more of a public discussion since this was on consent agenda. I don't know enough about what this specifically will be, especially the 13th. There's no details on the 13th. I was hoping to get some details on that. I just learned it might be in Middletown Park in front of the library. And since there was 2 supervisors, I wasn't able to have any of those conversations. But also wanted to provide some ideas, because I do have some concerns about the use of staff to a certain point. Again, this needs to happen. It needs to happen well. So I wanted to at least open up the dialogue of, is it possible to look at Lake County Events, who is an organization that helps prepare and organize events, to help us out rather than utilizing staff, and also just to learn more about the 12th and the 13th.
Yeah, so it's critical that we have staff hours to help facilitate the 2 events. There's actually 2 days of events, and Friday, September 12th is the anniversary, and at that time, at 1 p.m., 1:24 p.m., there's going to be a ceremony, and we have a lot of our leaders from Sacramento coming, from around the Lake Napa unit. We are working really closely with the sheriff's staff and so staff time is really for coordinating those invitations and the outreach and then helping with the press release. So there's that event. In the evening, there's a community event in Cobb. And then on Saturday, there's an event at the park and then another event in the evening at the Art Center. So there's a lot of moving pieces, but there is a county role in this. So that's why staff hours are needed. I've been doing it mostly by myself right now, which is not sustainable. So I do need the support and assistance of admin staff to coordinate with the sheriff's office. I don't know that we're going to go over 8 hours, but I just want to make sure that we have the ability to do it correctly, since we are inviting so many of our partners that have supported us over the past decade.
Supervisor Owen?
Oh, I didn't, oh, I'm sorry.
No worries. Any other?
And so, thank you for that detail, because some of that I was not aware of, especially the evening stuff and whatnot. And I just think it's good to talk about it to the public and for us to know what we're asking staff to be involved with. I'll just say this as a final thing. It's a little weird. We're seeing these new things requesting more than 8 hours. I know it's new, and I don't know how that's necessarily coming about. And I know I've also voted against some of these things in the past, but I feel like it's more of, do you want to support this event happening? And the answer is yes, rather than the use of staff. And if we support the event, then obviously that comes along with asking for the help in order to make that happen. So the exceeding 8 hours is kind of a new thing in the last year that I've been seeing, and it's just kind of a CAO, not sure if it's coming from the office or if it's not coming from the office, but it's not something that we ever saw before, and those rules were always on the policies and procedures. And it comes off a little strange, in my opinion, to ask it in those ways rather than, here's what we plan to do. Do you support us planning to do this? And again, for this one, the answer is yes.
Vice Chair.
Well, not to take a bunch more time, but when I looked at the policy, the ones that I think I've done was because the way I read the policy. So maybe I don't have to request it in that way, but I think the policy kind of outlines that.
All right, I'm going to open it up to the public to see if there's any more discussion from the public we would like to engage in with this. No hands in Zoom. I'll bring it back to the board for either further discussion or action.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the use of staff time exceeding 8 hours in support of September 12th and 13th Valley Fire observances.
I second that.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries 5-0. And then next we have our 5.7. Sitting as the Lake County Sanitation District Board of Directors, adopt resolution revising fiscal year 24-25 adopted budget of the County of Lake by appropriating unanticipated revenue for Fund 251 in the amount of $38,000 to Budget Unit 8351, Object Code 783.23-80 to pay for prior year sewer treatment costs. Special Districts Administrator Robin Bore and Jesse Salmeron.
Yeah, I have Jesse here, and he's our fiscal officer, so I was going to have him take this, but it's a minor change that to the reso that needs to happen. Instead of the reso saying adjustments to appropriations in the table, it should say adjustment to revenue and appropriations. So it's missing revenue and appropriations. And then if you have any other questions.
Did you have something to add, Jesse, or?
Nope, just that's pretty standard. We are increasing our revenue budget to pay for our professional and specialized services budget.
All right. Any questions? I don't think there's any questions from us. I'll open it up to the public for any comment. Bring it back to the board for action.
Sitting as the Lake County Sanitation District Board of Directors, Mr. Chair, I move that we offer the resolution
As amended.
as amended.
Resolution has been offered.
Director Owen?
Aye.
Director Sabatier?
Aye.
Director Rasmussen?
Aye.
Director Pyska?
Yes.
And Director Crandall?
Yes. Resolutions passes 5-0. All right. CAO. Well, thank you for this, and we'll end the topic 5.7. CAO, looks like you have.
I was just going to recommend that you take on calendars before lunch.
Okay. Okay.
Just a recommendation.
Well, I don't know if, I was just going to ask actually too, is if there's any of the closed session items, or would they take, we want to do that after the 1:30 and just go with that. All right, calendars it is.
I'm going to forego mine for right now.
Okay.
I'm not ready with
I'll
it.
go.
Go ahead, Vice Chair.
Okay, let's see. I had a fire board meeting I attended for Lake Park Fire last week. Also went to the APC and LTA board meetings. Attended the Animal Control Advisory Committee meeting. Followed up with a project with some folks. Had the BVAC, Big Valley Advisory Council meeting last week with Supervisor Pyska. Also again with her, the Space Committee meeting last week. I did some follow-up work with the CAO office and LAFCO on the Scotts Valley Water Conservation District item that was before us last week. I helped with the Cinema by the Shore movie in Lakeport, attended the Cold Creek Collaborative meeting, attended a Wool Scour feasibility project meeting, again with Supervisor Pyska, attended this Lakeport Summer Concert Friday, had some follow-up meeting with special districts, did the Scotts Valley Advisory Council meeting last night. I'll try to go to the City Council meeting in Lakeport tonight. I have a meeting later this week with a project out in Big Valley. I also have a meeting regarding some info on the Gwinnett project. And then I'm going to attend the Clear Lake Environmental Research Center is opening their Discovery Center this Friday over at Carnegie Hall at Library Park. And then I hope to make it up to the Blackberry Cobbler Festival on Saturday. And then I'll be next Monday back to meeting with the CAO, and I'll have a meeting with the Lakeport Mayor that night. That's it. Thank you.
I'll go.
All right.
Yeah, so the big news from Kelseyville and Cold Creek is that so much gravel was taken out of the creek last week. It was a big collaboration with water resources, state agencies, and a lot of our local community members working under the emergency. They were able to pull several loads of, or many loads of gravel out, reduce vegetation. There's a pipe that's been buried for a lot of years that helps with the drainage, so they were able to get that clear. There's more work that's going to continue to happen, so this is really fantastic work by everybody and great collaboration. So I know that the water resource staff doesn't want to take credit for it, but they are doing an incredible job coordinating all of this. So big shout out to you, Chris, and of course our director, Dr. Upadhyay. So this week, tomorrow, I have a meeting at the Cobb Water, and then biomass meeting looks like it might get canceled. Thursday, Best Vets Grants meeting, Resilient Communities. There's the NACO Western Region meeting, and then Friday, I will be at Maha with Vice Chair. I will be doing setup for the Cobbler Festival, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get to the clerk opening, given all of that happening. And then I will be volunteering at the Cobbler Festival all day Saturday. And then Monday, I have my meeting with CAO Parker, and then a biomass cohort meeting, and then the Terra and Workforce Alliance of the North Bay Open House, which is super exciting. I can't wait to see the property there. And then back on Tuesday.
Supervisor Sabatier?
Thank you. I'm going to sneak into the Lake EDC meeting tomorrow morning. I have a Continuum of Care housing meeting, and then a NACO Arts Council meeting. And then I got a Supervisor Williams from Mendocino reached out to me. I'll be having a conversation with him regarding budgets and other things. And then Hope Center has been certified a Blue Zone institution, or that's probably not the right term, but they're having a little bit of a gathering at Hope Center in the city of Clear Lake. On the 21st, Thursday, Chair Crandall will be our guest speaker at Judge's Breakfast. I have IFT meeting here, but I think that's a leftover. I think we're skipping this month and coming back next month. Then I have a Food Policy Council and a City of Clear Lake Council meeting that I'll be attending. Just to let you know, just in case that it does potentially, because animals don't really care for imaginary lines like jurisdictions, The city of Clear Lake is looking to make some pretty massive changes to their animal control, and not sure what that may mean. I know there's been a lot of interaction between our animal control and their animal control, just because, again, lines are imaginary for animals, and looking to see how that's going to change, hopefully in the better, but could also have potential adverse impacts in a short amount of time. On Friday, CSAC, I'm part of a child care working group. We'll be meeting again. It's been quite a while since we've met, but to continue to find solutions to ensure that there's enough child care providers in each county. And then I'll be meeting with a group of folks via PEG for our youth video project that we're looking into, that was proposed to PEG, that we want to move forward with, and that's interacting with our schools and getting our students to do some videography work. There is a Safe RX International Overdose Awareness Day happening on Saturday. I'm hoping to at least skip over to Lakeport and be there for a little while. We'll see what happens. I know it is going to be very hot, so I hope it goes well. Meeting with Lake County Community Foundations and Lake County Behavioral Health regarding COC funding on Monday, and a whole lot of PEG work on Monday. Meeting with our CAO on Monday, and I see here we have our splash pad meeting that is currently set for that Monday. And then I'll be going over to Hope Center to meet with the Lived Experience Committee that's there, and then I'll be here on the Tuesday.
I'm going to forego mine for right now.
All right, so I'll start out with last week. I went to RCRC, and I'll start out with I'll go backwards. Went to the GSNR meeting. It was in Tuolumne County, and a lot of the folks that came, there's been an issue with Golden State Natural Resources with the project that was in place before. The board decided to pivot from wood pellets for export to wood chips for domestic market rather than the wood pellets. That's what it is. I had to go through my notes again. And because of that, it's also being worked on in Tuolumne County, which is an actual wood processing facility. It used to be that, so it's not changing the aspect of what's happening. So it's not really going to affect the community as much as it would as if it was brought there. So a lot of the folks that came were really satisfied and just wanted to see a lot more social media output, even if it has to do with just any type of announcements, RFQs, things like that, to keep some of the dollars in the community as their county, the citizens feel as if they're going through, like a lot of us are with their budgets and whatnot. So they've revised the draft DEIR to reduce the scale of the wood chip project, and it's going to move forward from that aspect. It's still going to take some time. Probably in January is when that'll go forward. But all in all, the public comment was a lot better, and it doesn't seem like it's going to have as much pushback. There's still going to be the common lawsuits and whatnot, but that's where that goes anyhow. As for the RCRC meeting, it was Carrie Brownstein, I think, and Lee Kemper from the County Medical Services Program, which gave a presentation on, I want to say I'm trying to find it right here. It was what was created in '82 to serve as a pooled risk health program for the 35 small counties after Medi-Cal eligibility was eliminated for indigent adults, but the governing board established in '95 was put together to oversee policy. And so they were just talking about the challenges that are going to come in place to navigate through the financial strain. And then there was also some reporting on the ACA 1, and there's quite a bit, or HR 1, I'm sorry, I don't know why I said ACA. The state is expected to address the MCO tax, which is, I want to say Medicare county. I need to find out what the O means. I wrote the notes as MCO. Tax changes early in the budget process. So upcoming Medicaid eligibility changes will tighten eligibility for the expansion population. County responsibility for indigent care and its funding mechanisms have evolved significantly over decades. And so this is going to, with HR 1, it's going to put an impact on our counties and whatnot. And that's talking about it's set to be implemented in 2027. So just giving that insight for the RCRC meeting. We have to I'm gonna have to work on my basket for it's that time, and they've also put a deadline on the 30th of August, or it's not gonna have a listing and whatnot. So I've already put some effort into it. I got the radio already set for the ammo can, and I have some, like we did last year, we used those, I always want to say magnesite, I don't know why, but it's obsidian. If I give them magnesite, that's well, they'll be rich, whoever wins that. But so using the obsidian in the basket we did last year, I got that radio going, and we'll just get some barrels. I have someone working on the barrel right now, like similar to last year, but let's have it a little different. Last year we had a bass, a hitch, there was an eagle or osprey, everything that highlights our wildlife when it comes to Lake County. And on the top of it, it was a table made out of a wine barrel, and on the top of it said Lake County. So see if we can get something a little different, but with the same feel to it. And then start, working with the local community businesses and whatnot to help, contribute to that, so we can do a better. Well, I think it was like 1,500, but plus the 1,000 from PG&E and whatnot. Or
Yeah,
something
that's
like
a
that.
lot.
Quite a bit this time, so stepped up our game on that. So yeah, what happens with that auction is the county of the chair picks the nonprofits in their county to donate this auction funds to, and so they split it up between either 5 or 4 of the different through the community. That's also why I ran for the vice chair at the time. The second vice chair was to see if we could, by this year, Vital One, we'd be having it in this county, and we would have been able to choose 4, but also bring all of those folks to our county once during the mid-year meeting. But nonetheless, that's what this is for, so I want to make sure people know that. On to this week. Tomorrow I have Worth, Judges Breakfast Thursday, Law Library Governing Board meeting. Let's see, and Monday, or Saturday, I think I got to get the details, but I'm sure it's at the spot in my district, so I need to go there for the opening for Tara. And so that will be something I attend. And then back here on Monday with a meeting with Susan, and then the Board of Supervisors meeting Friday. I'm going to leave open to catch up on some things. Yeah, that's what I got for my calendar. Is that everything for everyone?
I'll go ahead and do
All
mine
right,
now.
here we go.
I'm not quite prepared to do my calendar, so I know I'm missing some things. I'm going to be meeting with the trapper, I'm hoping tomorrow. We have some major mountain lion issues in our area. We had 11 alpacas killed yesterday in the Middletown area, and it also wounded one of the guardian dogs. This has been an ongoing problem, and I've been trying to get some movement going to address this, somehow seeing what can be done, what might need to be done to put some balance back into nature as our deer population is dwindling. On Thursday, there's the Calliope board meeting, Calliope Water Board meeting. And I'm also trying to get and I've talked to Quan about it, but I need to get our water resources director out to the Pewter Creek area and look at the Hidden Valley Lake levee in that area. I've been planning on going in August. August is here, so I need to make that happen to look at the safety of the levee and see if there's some erosion going on in that area. I did drone it earlier this year when the waters were high, so we want to go check that and give that some attention. On Friday, I have a podcast for the Farm Bureau and our 6th Middletown Rodeo Association rodeo at my place for the kids. We have 7 during the year, so our 6th one will be this coming Friday evening at 6. I'm hoping to attend the Blackberry Festival on Cobb on Saturday, and work on our agenda like I normally do on the weekend as well. I have Monday, we have a splash pad meeting and an MRA meeting. And I also would like to bring some attention to, I believe I was invited to the Big Valley Big Science premiere at the Sober Reese, and I had went to that last year when I was campaigning, and I understand that it has some more added to it, so I'm excited to see that, and that'll be on the 12th at 7 p.m. And I think that's been a collaborative with the county and our very own Sam Houston and Angela. So I'm excited about that. So mark your calendars. Thank you.
I had one more just real quick. I forgot to mention some of the different bills that are going through, and one's mainly the Brown Act changes. So right now it's moved from concerns to support, so the bill is considered highly likely to pass and be signed. The negotiated terms are favorable, providing liability protection and a long-term standstill on the further Brown Act bills. And so what that does is, we've talked about the small counties like ours, and I think I testified on this one. I did, actually, last year. It includes exclusions for small counties and small cities under 30,000 for small counties, and cities and counties under 6. It went from 30,000 to 600,000. New amendments have come to limit the impact on small special districts. What it does is a 20% threshold requiring agenda translation for Google Translate, and also what they're looking at is, because these are advisory committees, they want to ensure that they're volunteers, so they're hoping that some of these folks can attend virtually on some instances, because again, they're volunteering their time. Let's see, AB 339, which has to do with contracting, holds an opposed position. That's what the RCRC holds, that opposed position right now. AB 632, that's code enforcement. So this one has to do with the illegal cannabis, housing code violations, and fire hazards, and prioritizes these cases. It's progressing well, having passed the Judiciary Committee. It is expected to have the votes to get to the floor, and the organization is hopeful it will be signed into law. And that's important because of the illegal cannabis that we deal with. Let's see, the rest, I think, you can, if you need to reach out to me on some of these, like 762, AB 762, SB 501, SB 283, I'll have a list, and I'll just put that on my webpage that way, because it has a list of all what's going on with those. But I just wanted to highlight those because they pertain to us. So with that, I will let Supervisor Sabatier.
I have a question for Supervisor Helen. I know that I've been unable to go to the Clean Water Act meetings. Are you available at 2 p.m. on Thursday?
Yeah, actually, I had that on there,
Okay,
but
okay.
I, again, missed it.
Okay, I'm glad, because I think that's an important one. Just want to make a quick statement, because August 21st is the deadline, which is before our next meeting, and we fought really, really hard to have the district that we have currently, congressional district, and they are voting to change what our congressional district is. I have concerns that we're not getting the time to put in our public comment. We're not getting the time where things are being changed for us, and so I hope that Mr. Rothstein, who works with our lobbyists and whatnot, I don't know if that's already pre-listed of something for him to support or not support, but the fact that it's happening August 21st and we've barely even seen what the maps and redistricting looks like, and the fact that we fought so hard to have the district that we have today, just feels like walking backwards for me. So just wanted to at least put it out there, and it looks like that Mr. Rothstein is involved in that, so thank you.
Thank you for mentioning that, because that was a high topic of discussion at the RCRC meeting. There was no vote on it, so I'll just leave it at that, but it came up in county concerns, and many are concerned about that change and do not like it. So with that, is there anything else to add? What next? Because we're at 11:45.
Lunch.
Go to lunch and come back at 1?
Yeah.
All right, we will go to lunch and come back and see you back here at 1
No,
o'clock.
I did have that down. I just didn't get over to here. Sorry. But I did see it on there. I meant to put it down, what I said.